like a cherry tomato plant. I've gotten a couple from there. They're not so bad. Now, the ones that I've had some success with are the ones that are already prepackaged in a pot with a cage and already well on their way when I purchase them. I have done pretty well with those. I got a bunch from the first plant that I had purchased, but then there was like no new buds coming out. But then all of a sudden some popped up, and I've got some new tomatoes growing now. So I have 2 of those plants. They've been doing okay, but I went to buy tomatoes yesterday, and this is why I've been trying to grow tomatoes for the now 5th year in a row. Again, best crop ever, still not a good crop. I'm working on it. I'm making progress. I'm getting there. We'll see how it goes next year. Next year, I always say, next year is going to be so much better. I was right. This year was so much better than last year. Sometimes I'm afraid to eat my own tomatoes, though. I'm like, oh, if I grew it, there's got to be something wrong with it, right? Is it poisonous? Is it going to make me sick? But I finally gotten over that because I've eaten quite a few, and I haven't gotten sick yet. But I purchased some tomatoes from the farm stand yesterday. Man, tomatoes are expensive. Gosh. They charge by pound, and tomatoes are heavy. Same thing with apples. Apples are ridiculously expensive because they're heavy. Now, these tomatoes are huge. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, though. They were like $6.50 or something for like 4 tomatoes. But again, pretty big tomatoes. I don't really like necessarily huge tomatoes because I'll eat a tomato with my dinner. And I just kind of want to cut up not a small tomato, but like a medium-sized tomato and like into like 4 slices. Just put a little salt and pepper on it. And just eat it like that. And when they're too big, it's just too much. Too much. So that is the latest with my bumper crop of tomatoes. Next summer, another year, we'll see how it goes. But I've seen a lot of people posting on Facebook about their tomatoes. It looked like a lot of people's tomatoes came in early this year. This is usually the prime time for tomatoes, around mid-August to mid-September. And you can usually get tomatoes and corn on the cob until the first frost, which typically doesn't happen until, if we're lucky, late October. So I eat a lot of tomato and corn on the cob as often and as much as I can until then. So I should still get a good another month and a half after to get my corn and tomatoes in, because then it's just such a good meal. It's like healthy. It's not a lot of calories, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to move on to the topic. I had posted 2. One, I wanted to know, since it is Labor Day weekend, what is the worst job you ever had? I had to clean windows one summer. I worked for a cleaning company, and I did a combination of everything. But my primary job in the beginning was a window washer, which I did not enjoy, I had to tell you. And then I also was what they called a cleaning supervisor, which meant that I took a group of girls on changeover day here at the shore, and I had to drop them each off at a house. What we would do is we would start early, drive around waiting for somebody that left early. There was almost always one person that left early, so we could get somebody started somewhere, and then we would drive around, and I would drop off the rest of the girls. And then when I got done dropping off all of the girls, I had to go back to the first house to help her finish up if she wasn't done, and then take her to her next house and do that whole rotation all over again. So there was a lot of cleaning involved for me as well. Not as much as the girls, obviously. And I didn't mind that on Saturdays. I loved my girls. I loved the crew that I had. And they didn't have as much fun as I did, but they loved Saturday afternoons when they were done. Because we all had to do this between 10 and 2. Some places don't even have checkout until 11. So you've got 3 to 4 hours to do, I don't know, they were giving me like 12 houses to do. It was like a lot of work. Always got it done, but the worst was those windows that I had to wash. So I wanted to hear from you what your worst job was. Jody says, I was 21, took a job at La Quinta Inn as a maid. I don't even make my own bed every day. I lasted 3 whole days. Marcy says, I worked for a temp agency when I moved to a new state. At one assignment, I had to greet shoppers coming to the grand opening of a furniture store. At another, I performed data entry and mailing tasks for an insurance company. They never even bothered to look at my resume to find out I had a college degree and realized that I could do more than that. Now, I never look down on anyone who is earning an honest wage, no matter what they do. I've learned that through my cleaning career as well. I've done a couple of jobs that people have treated me a certain way because they figured, oh, you're cleaning houses? Oh, you this, that, the other thing. You really should never do that, especially like when I would have to go into the realtor's office. Like, I'd be like, hi, I'm so-and-so from such cleaning. Oh, like they'd be all happy and smiley when I walked in thinking I was a client. And then when they realized I was just from the cleaning company, they'd be like, oh, all right, here's your key. Karen says, the Ponderosa on Street Road in Bensalem. Remember that nasty place? Lasted about a week and a half. Yeah, we went there all the time, Karen. We went there all the time when we were kids. In fact, my sister worked there, and I mentioned that. And my sister says, haha, I was going to list that as my least favorite job. I worked the salad bar when it was pretty new. It was gross. I only worked there for about a month or two. So there are some of your least favorite jobs. And then I decided to put another topic up. And I wanted to know, I saw this and stole this from Oprah's page. I'm sure she didn't come up with the question, but it says, what is one word people would use to describe you? I put down annoying. I don't really know. I know I can be annoying, but Lauren said, Wendy, that's what I was going to say. I assume she meant about herself and not about me. I hope so anyway. Jim says, I think it would be loyal because that's the one thing I've tried hardest to be, even though hardworking is another. But my answer is loyal. I say yes to both, Jim. Jody says it's a tie between funny and bleep hole. And Jody and Jim know each other. So he says, I pick bleep hole. Not very nice, Jim. Marcy says busy. Rose says, I don't know, Wendy. What do you think? Well, Rose was my boss for many years at Friendly. So I said, bossy, since you're my boss. And then she wrote my name and wrote independent, funny, reliable because she gave an oh no face for when I wrote annoying. I assumed she meant me being independent, funny, and reliable. She could have meant herself. Didn't occur to me till later she was talking about herself. I'm not sure who she was talking about, but I did respond saying, aw, shucks, don't forget, not always friendly, because I worked for Rose at Friendly's, and I had started at another restaurant, and I had transferred over to a different restaurant, and apparently when she called for a reference about me to my old store, they said, she's not always friendly, which I wasn't always friendly. I can admit that. But she hired me anyway, and I worked there for, I believe, 8 years. So I think it worked out because I worked at the first one, I think, for 3 years, and then the second one for 8 years. And then I went back to the first one for another couple of years. Oh, my gosh, it's been crazy. So Ron says the one word used to describe him would be unnormal. Okay, Ron, if you say so, I'm not gonna offer up any comments on that. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Kathy says blessed. Oh, that's nice. And Diane says lucky. I've never been called lucky. I don't know if I've ever been lucky. But there are some of your answers to the topic. So I will move right on to the blog post. You know why? Because it is a Cocktail Friday, and it is time for some cocktails. Well, maybe not quite yet. But let's get this done and get this party started. We're talking about long-term happiness today. I've been talking about instant gratification all week. I did put up a quote by my guru, Oprah Winfrey. Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. And I did a twofer today, and then another quote that says you just have to keep pushing yourself. Remember that. I posted an article on the group page yesterday about how instant gratification doesn't lead to lasting happiness. So if you get a chance, check that out. It's on the group page. If you're not a member of the group, please just ask to join, and I will approve it immediately. But I think we all know that on some level, instant gratification does not lead to long-lasting happiness. We all get caught up in the moment. We all want to enjoy life right now. In fact, we are hardwired biologically to seek instant gratification due to our evolution. It's a survival instinct. We do want to enjoy our lives as much as possible. I say that all the time. Do a little something every day that brings you joy. But we have to think about our future somewhat. Enjoy the moment? Yes. But what is going to bring you long-lasting happiness? It comes down to making choices about what's important to you. Do you want to lose weight or do you want to devour that brownie? I hate to use the term willpower because I know how fleeting it can be. There have been times in my life I have had willpower of steel and other times that I couldn't find it if it slapped me in my face. So I think that my level of willpower has coincided with how I'm feeling about myself and how satisfied I am with my life, speaking for myself personally. But like I was talking about earlier this week, if brownies are your absolute favorite, then maybe a bite will be okay. But if it's only like your fourth favorite dessert, skip it. Don't blow all your healthy eating for something that's not worth it. Look for instant gratification in another direction. Smelling a flower, checking out the sunset, talking to a friend, listening to the new Taylor Swift album. Oh, maybe that's just me. But really, you should check it out. It's excellent. Excellent. I think it might be her best one yet. So we all go through periods where we fall for the lure of instant gratification. In fact, right now I'm sitting on the porch. Well, right now I'm sitting in the kitchen. But as I was writing this blog post yesterday, I was sitting on the porch writing this and listening to Tay-Tay. And it's beautiful out. And I'm tempted to just bag the whole blog right now and go sit in the sun with a good book. But I'm not. I didn't. I finished. So this is ready for everybody now. And then I will learn to speak, first of all. Then I will reward myself with some leisure time. Even though this is what I love to do, and I can't wait to get my message out to you every day, there are still times I would rather sit around and do whatever I want without deadlines. But that won't get me to where I plan to go. That won't help grow my brand and get the word out about the Hopefulist. So I finished it first. Then I had some playtime. You saw me. I was out on the boat, enjoying a concert, watching the sunset. Yeah, I deserved it. It's the same with any goal. Get some work done now and let in a little playtime. Going back to the healthy eating, you can give in now to your sweet tooth or wait. In my opinion, you should at least be giving yourself one treat meal a week, at least one treat meal. Save it for then. I give myself a whole day, which is usually why I have not been doing great this summer, but I'm happy with how long it will take because I don't want to give up my whole summer. As long as I'm making progress, and I am going to give up a lunch invitation today because I really need to be good because this weekend's going to be tough because it's a long holiday week and we're having some company on Sunday. I'm going to try to be good today, tomorrow, and then Sunday. I'll make that my cheat day, hopefully get back on track on Monday. That doesn't usually happen. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, though, you're making a choice. If it's more important for you to keep on track now, then stick to it. Would you rather be a little lax now, knowing it will take longer to get there? That's okay, too, as long as you're okay with it. So go read the article I posted yesterday about instant gratification. Hopefully it helps you, give you some tips about where you may need a little boost. But after that, it is Cocktail Friday, people. Get ready to grab a cold adult beverage. I want you to have a fantastic holiday weekend. Whatever you are doing, make sure to be safe. Now go make it your best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.